Okay, folks, okay, Shotgun coming back at you here again. We've got some wads to talk about. This is continuing our series in the shotgun components. I've got a lot of wads laid out here. Some of them I use, some of them I don't, some of them I just have. But I want to talk to you about a few of them and let you know the differences mainly in steel shot wads or hard shot wads. Hard shot being steel shot, tungsten shot, heavy shot, stuff that's harder than your shotgun barrel or as hard as your shotgun barrel and might damage it if it's not protected. And then lead shot wads, which is your standard wads that have been around for years, which is mainly your target wads, and some of the target wads are used for field loads. One thing to note is there are loads that are lead shot loads that will call for a steel shot wad because it's a harder wad and has been proven maybe to hold a better pattern downrange. But you never want to use a lead shot wad in a steel shot setting because it will not protect your barrel from getting scored or causing a blemish. And another thing we'll talk about is mylar wrap to put down inside a wad of steel shot, heavy shot, tungsten shot, and that is just an extra layer of protection. We'll also talk about felt wads that you can put in the bottom of your shot cup, and sometimes this improves pattern. It also raises the height of the column to provide a better crimp. Overshot cards, which you can put over your shot column to make a better crimp, and just regular old gas seals that some loads call for. I'm going to provide you with a little different view so you don't have to keep staring at me, and we'll get down here and I'll try to get you as close up as I can of these various wads, and you can actually see what they look like, and I'll kind of provide some commentary on them. It's going to be a pretty as informative as I can make it without trying to make it extremely long of a video. So sit back, enjoy, and let me know what you think in the comments. And here we go with shotgun components, the wads. Okay, so I'm going to do the best I can at holding this steady and on the tripod and try not to create too much movement. But let's zoom in here. On the left I have steel shot wads. On the right I have lead shot wads. And if you notice, like before, I don't have any steel shot wads for 20 gauge because I've never loaded 20 gauge in steel shot. So let me try to zoom in here, make this as best focused as I can. You can see on the writing on the paper, I'll scoot this wad down a little bit. This is the MG42. The MG42 is a steel shot wad. It's also good for lead shot and has a cushion section. The wad pedals are very thick. It's Italian made. In the Lyman manual, it is the STS. In the ballistic products, it's the MG42, and in precision reloading, it's the TUW GL12 wad. The one right next to that is the ballistic products PT1253. It's a steel shot wad, very thick. The pedals are stitched together. This MG42, I'll go back, it's made to hold up to 1 ounce. Some loads call for a little more than an ounce. I've never been able to get more than an ounce in it. 2 pedal wad. It is stitched, but I've split this one apart by putting my hand in it. The PT1253 will hold about 11/16 to 366 grains of steel shot. The PT1260 will hold 7/8 to 1 ounce of shot. It is a steel shot wad from Ballistic Products. Very good gas seal. We're starting to show some things I'm going to discuss here. This is one of my favorite wads. The glitter looking stuff on it is Wad Slick, mica Wad Slick from Ballistic Products. But they do not make this PT1265 wad anymore, and it used to hold 1 ounce of steel, and is a very, I really liked this wad. I wish they would bring it back. You can put that in a Rio shell and make a very deadly combination. Moving on to these two here. These are the Ballistic Products number CSD078 or Precision Reloading number TUW-SBL24. It's a 7/8 ounce wad. Now, one thing that I will say is I got with Precision Reloading whenever I first got these wads, and I couldn't get them to hold 7/8 ounces shot. And if you'll look on their website, it has been amended that they will not hold 7/8 ounce shot because the mold has been changed, and it holds about 13/16 of an ounce or less. The next one, the BP CSD 100, it is a cushioned wad, thick pedals, 4 steel shot, Precision Reloading number TUW-SBL28. Those wads right there are steel shot 12 gauge wads, 2 3/4 inch or 3 inch, depending on what you want to use it in. When I load this, I'll go ahead and mention this now. This right here is Mylar wrap. It's very thin. What this is, and a lot of people don't know this, what this is transparency film that they used to use in school when we was kids, and they would write on an overhead projector, and it would show it on the chalkboard or show it on a whiteboard or something on the wall. You can cut this and put it inside the wad. What you do is just roll it up and tuck it down inside the wad. You can cut it to fit. This one is made for this 1265 wad, really. Fits right down inside there and will provide you a layer of protection for shotguns that are a little bit finer to you, not just a Walmart cheapy shotgun. If nothing wrong with Walmart shotguns, I've got some, but if you have a Browning or something you really want to protect, Mylar wrap is good for that. Staying with steel shot wads, the last one we have is the 16 gauge steel shot wad, the PT 1680. This is a great steel shot wad for 16 gauge. They have others out there, but I've never used the CSD 16, and I can't really comment on it. Moving over to lead shot wads. Lead shot wads are a class all of their own. This is the old standard that we've always had. This is the WAA-12. This is the Claybuster equivalent, CB00118-12. They use the exact same load data. If you look at them, they are the exact same. Try to hold these for you. They are the exact same wad. There's a little bit of a height difference there, but that makes no difference. They call for the exact same data. Most of these wads here, Claybuster will have a equivalent to, and some of these are the Claybuster equivalent already. This is a 1 ounce, I forgot, these are 1 1/8 ounce wad. This is a 1 ounce wad, WAA-12SL. It's pink. This is a Claybuster wad, equivalent to the WAA-12L wad, silver wad. This is a Ballistic Products. I don't think they make this wad anymore. PT1210, they might. If they do, then I'll stand corrected. It is a lead shot wad with a very tall cushion section. 16 gauge. This is the WAA 16. This one right beside it is the Claybuster equivalent CB0100-16. It is the exact equivalent to the AA wad, which is no longer in production. Pink wad here, hot pink wad, is the Claybuster 007-816. It's a 7/8 ounce wad. It is the exact same wad as the AA 16 or the Claybuster equivalent, but if you look down inside there, you can see a little nipple sticking up there. That's to take up space so that you can load 7/8 ounce of shot. They provide data for this when you buy it from them, so it's safe to stick with that. Remington 16 gauge wad. They used to have two, now they only have one that they offer to reloaders. This is the Remington SP16. They used to have an R16 that had another part of the cushion section right here, and it had another section of holes for the cushion section to make it a 1 ounce wad. This is a 1 ounce, 1 1/8 wad. You can put the fiber wad inside it if you wish. Kind of mash it down in there. Now it just became a 1 ounce wad. 20 gauge wads. I use two. This is an old, out of production Winchester AA 20 F1 wad. This is a WAA 20 wad. Felt wads, they come in various thicknesses. This is an eighth inch thick, and see if I can get that to focus for you. This is an 1/8 inch thick wad. Very good. You can double them up to make a 1/4, or you can buy them already at a 1/4 inch thick. Overshot cards, which help to provide better crimp, are here. This is the 16 gauge version. This is the 12 gauge version. The difference in them, they're the same thickness. The difference in them, of course, is how big around they are cut. I use this in everything. I use the overshot cards in everything because it provides a nice, flat, round, tall crimp, which is what I'm looking for. These can be used to raise your shot column to a good height, to provide a crimp, to prevent dished crimp. What's a dished crimp? What am I talking about when I say a dished crimp? This is a dished crimp that is dished down way too far. The shot's rattling out in there. Some of it has come out. And if I would have used an overshot card or a felt wad in the bottom, it would have been better in that particular setup. This is an example of a good crimp. I did not use an overshot card in that, but it turned out okay. It did just fine. This Ballistic Products gas seal. Some loads in BP's manual will call for the gas seal, and if you need it, it's this. Some of them will call for others, X12X, various other gas seals are out there. Now, to kind of show you some differences here, a lot of these wads, or at least two of these wads, this one, which is a 16 gauge, and this one right here, which is a 12 gauge wad, they're not cushioned. Steel shot does not have to be cushioned to stay round. Lead shot will get flat spots on it, as I mentioned in one of my videos, if it's not cushioned during the forces of ignition. But what they found out through the years is that you can really help the pressure peaks that your load is making by being able to cushion it. So that's a cushion on a steel shot wad. This is a cushion on a steel shot wad, and so they cushion them. The cushion just helps with pressure. It also helps the shot during the forces of setback and allows it to stay round, if it's lead or if it's bismuth or whatnot. Just taking a wad, of course I'm a 16 gauge guy, I hope you all know that by now. This 16 gauge wad, I mentioned not to use steel shot and a lead shot wad. These are both 16 gauge wads. You can see the thickness, you can see how flexible that wad is. That one is not near as flexible, it's a lot heavier. So that's the wads that I use, some of them that I use anyway. You definitely want to make sure that you use what is called for. And now we'll get back and I'll put you back where I'm in the shot and explain some things about what happens when you substitute a wad. Hang on. Okay, so what happens if you substitute a wad? Well, in your lineman manual, remember what I called this? In your lineman manual on page 58, it talks about lead shot wads, and this will be true for steel shot wads that they have in their section, or lead shot wads. You want to make sure that you're using the wad that it calls for, or at least the generic equivalent. I don't know what you want to call it, claybuster equivalent or downrange equivalent. You want to make sure you're using that particular wad because you don't want to go over pressure. What am I talking about? Well, right here in the manual, page 58, you can see that is the exact same, if I can hold this straight, that is the exact same load, good night, that was used right there. And all they did was substitute wad. You can see what it did to velocity, but more importantly, you can see what it did to pressure. The exact same load changed the pressure by 1500 psi. So you are up to the max on 12 gauge in that substitution. Well, if you're already starting out with a load that's published at peak pressure, maximum pressure, SAMI specs of 11,500 for a 2 3/4 inch 12 gauge, then you don't want to go substituting wads because you could go over pressure, and that'll cause any sort of problems that could come up and arise. Bad patterns, poor ignition, permanent damage to your gun, permanent damage to your body. So you don't want to be messing around with that. This has been kind of a informative video, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, leave a comment in there, like and subscribe, and we'll see you with the next one. Bonus shot, here we go. I do something that some people may not do. I'm a bit of a nerd. I'm fixing to show you how much of a nerd that I am with this. But on my shelf, and I always keep it, is Mica Wad Slick. I mentioned this in the video. Mica Wad Slick's a good product to make the wad have it a very slick feeling. And in the forces of combustion, when the wad's going down the barrel, there's a such thing as drag. And what this will do is provide a slippery surface for that to go down. It doesn't mess with your powder. It doesn't mess with your gas, with your sealing of your gas seal that's in the bottom of your shot cup down here. You don't mess with that. But let me show you some wads that have been shot with Mica Wad Slick and without right here. Okay, this one shot without Mica Wad Slick. That's how much that black right there, the drag that was on the barrel. This one had Mica Wad Slick on it. Look how much less drag. I have another one to show you I was very impressed with. Check this one out. Clean, much less drag. Inside the shot cup, you can see where the pellets have deformed the bottom. But this wad, if you can see these marks on the petals, those dents, see that? They're up, there's a hole right there. That's a steel shot wad, but that's a hole. So you don't want that. That's where the Mylar wrap is going to come in on helping you to protect that shotgun barrel. Now, on this one that had mica wad slick on it, look at that wad. There's a lot less dimples on there, and that shot didn't even make it through this Mylar wrap, much less make dents and impressions of the shot on the petals of the wad. So, one advantage that you're going to have by hand loading anything is going to be that you will be able to put that Mylar wrap in there, and you'll have peace of mind that every time you are hunting or target shooting, if your target range requires you to shoot non-toxic, then you'll be able to put that in there and know that you have 100%, as close to 100% protection against your barrel as you possibly can. So, this has been your OK Shotgun Outdoors bonus shot, and happy shooting. See you next time.